This is Phil, and today we're going to be talking about safety in airsoft. Safety should be paramount for all airsofters. Airsoft is something we do for fun, and nothing ruins the fun more than someone getting hurt, especially if that injury was preventable. Safety is something that many people become complacent about over time, and that's when injuries are actually the most likely to occur. What we're going to do today is go over 5 tips that all airsofters should be familiar with, whether they're veterans or new players hitting the field for the first time. So let's get to it. First off, we're going to talk about eye protection. Now, all airsofters know you must always wear eye pro when playing airsoft, but the reality is that not all eye pro is created equal. When selecting eye protection for yourself, you're going to want to look for eye pro that is impact rated, either ANSI Z87 in North America or EN 166 in Europe. This is extremely important because there's a lot of goggles and glasses that are marketed for airsoft that will not provide adequate protection. A good example of this is mesh goggles, which can actually cause the BB to fragment on impact, sending shards of plastic into your eyes. Additionally, you're going to want to look for eye pro that has a full seal with a strap. The full seal will prevent BBs from entering in through the sides, and the strap will reduce the likelihood of the eye pro getting knocked off your face, forcing you to stop play. Tip number 2 is no Duff. No Duff is Canadian military slang that's used to indicate that an incident is not part of training and is completely real. We use this in airsoft as well. By shouting no Duff, you're letting all players on the field know that a real incident has occurred that requires immediate attention. When you call no Duff, ceasefire has to be implemented immediately, and all players who hear the no Duff call have to also repeat it. This means that there will be a complete ceasefire on the field, allowing the situation to be addressed. Situations that may require a no Duff call include eye pro coming off someone's face, a real injury, or an unknown person entering the playing field. You can use whatever slang you want. You don't have to say no Duff, as long as all players are clear that when they hear the call, they must cease fire immediately and repeat it. This will ensure that when a real situation occurs on your playing field, that play doesn't continue accidentally and the situation can be resolved immediately. Tip number 3 is proper footwear. We talk a little bit about getting a good pair of boots in our tips for beginners video, but the reality is that proper footwear is critical in avoiding one of the most common airsoft injuries that we see, which is rolled ankles. Airsoft fields tend to be pretty hazardous. They're uneven, there's debris all over the place, and it's easy for you to lose your footing. Sneakers, skate shoes, soccer cleats are not appropriate footwear for airsoft. You're going to want to look for something like a military boot, a hiking boot, or even a work boot. They will provide adequate ankle protection for you, as well as a rugged construction in case you step on something sharp, and an aggressive tread that will help you keep your footing. Tip number 4 is chronographing guns. Chronographing guns before every game is common practice at most airsoft fields. This makes sure that all players are following the field FPS limits. Fundamentally, an airsoft BB is no different than any other projectile. If you impart enough muzzle energy to it, it can cause a significant amount of pain and even injury, especially up close. Field FPS limits make sure that no player is shooting past a certain threshold and ends the arm race of players constantly trying to one-up each other by having guns that shoot hotter and hotter and hotter. As an airsofter, it is your responsibility to ensure that your gun is abiding by the field FPS limits, and chronographing guns before every game should be part of your field's routine. If it isn't, you should encourage your field or community to start doing it right away. Set some basic limits and start testing your guns. As a starting point, we recommend a maximum 1.59 joules of muzzle energy, or about 400 FPS with a 0.20 gram BB for AEGs. It's also worth noting that just because you can shoot someone up close doesn't mean that you should, and many fields actually enforce a minimum engagement distance. Even a gun that passes a chrono test can still inflict serious pain or injury if used to shoot someone up close, so you should be aware of the minimum engagement distances for your particular rifle, as well as any mercy rules that may be in play. Tip number 5 is carry a first aid kit and know how to use it. Many airsofters already tend to carry an individual first aid kit or IFAK, but not all of them know how to use it. Emergency first aid training is one of the most universally useful skills you can have, and we encourage everyone who carries a first aid kit to go get certified. Basic first aid training can be done almost everywhere. It's relatively cheap and can be completed in a day. Many employers will even reimburse you for the course or give you time off to go complete it. A typical first aid kit will contain bandages such as a triangle bandage or compression bandage, band-aids, gauze, nitrile gloves, medical tape, scissors or shears, as well as antiseptic spray. Additionally, if you're trained in first aid, you may consider carrying a nasal airway tube as well as a tourniquet. Before you hit the field, also make sure that all players are aware of who the first aiders are and where the first aid kits are located in the case of a no-duff call. So to recap our 5 airsoft safety tips: get iPro that's impact rated, use no-duff to signal real emergencies on the field, use airsoft appropriate footwear, corner your guns before every game, and carry a first aid kit and know how to use it. We hope you found this video helpful. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.